Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, welcome to the Rap Sheet Podcast, episode number 8. We are here, we are live, and we are ready to get things on and popping with our one and only guest. And we're about to bring him on right now. And we're going to have fun with it. There he is.
Back again.
There he is. Back again for the very first time, ladies and gentlemen. Look.
Sir.
It's kind of cool that we get to do this over again because I really want to make this an experience that people will never forget. So, ladies and gentlemen, the person that you see right here has done it all.
Oh,
you want to talk about legendary things? He has sang the national anthem at the Red Sox game, not once, but twice, maybe even 3 times, I do believe.
yeah.
I lost count because once you do it once, you're in. Ma'am, thank you, ma'am. This man did the damn thing. This man has opened up for the likes of Keisha Cole, Monica, Music Soul Child, Keith Sweat, the legendary Ralph Tresvant, Kiki Wyatt, and so many more. I mean, come on, that laundry list is insane. This guy was part of a group called Metro City. They disbanded in 2008. Shout out to all the guys representing Metro City. But he said, you know what, I'm not done. I did that thing. Now it's time to do this thing. And he's won awards with it. His name has been on every flyer that you could possibly imagine. And not many people can go down to my hometown in Harlem, get on the Apollo stage, and wow everybody. He did that too. And even had a standing ovation from 3 of the biggest legends in this culture: Dougie Fresh, Gladys Knight, and Mr. Michael Bivins. But we're going to get into all that a little later. He's got albums, he's got singles, he's got a discography, he's got a catalog, but he has a presence. And a lot of people just do music just because they know they can make some money out of it. And then there are people who do music because they just want to pay the right tribute to the people that came before. And that's this brother right here. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure and my honor to once again bring forth, because we've done interviews like this so many times. I've lost count. I think you're one of the only people who I've interviewed more than 10 times.
Wow.
But it's okay because this is number 11 and it's perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Mr. I Am RnB, Royale is here.
Hey.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Let that applause meter. Come on, there it is right there. Give this man his flowers, ladies and gentlemen. Give this man his flowers. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. How you doing, sir?
I appreciate you for having me on. I'm doing well, man. It is a blessing to just, man, right now it's just a blessing to be alive, man. And it is definitely a blessing to still be able to do music and still be able to connect with people. And this is special for me because you were one of the people who were right at the beginning of my career when I just got out of my group. I didn't know which way I was going. I just knew I wanted to continue what I set out to do when I was a young teenager. So, shout out to you for you got to give people their flowers, man. Shout out to you for just being there for me whenever, and I mean whenever I called. Because it was times I would call at the last moment, like, hey, I got a show, man. I need you to do this for me, brother, please.
I'm like, let's go. What you need? That's it.
Exactly.
Every time.
And those are the type of people, that you need around you, and those are the type of people that you need by your side, and that's what a lot of artists will understand in the future. As I'm one of the people that love to educate up and coming artists, because everybody just want the flash. They just want, just to be on stage and get that love from people, but they don't understand how much work it takes to be actually good. It takes a lot of work, a lot of effort, a lot of, I still get in awe of myself sometimes when I look back, like my fiance, she played my my show back to me last night where she taped for me, and I was like, sometimes you just still. I look at myself and I go, man, I came so far from where I
Yeah.
was, from where I started. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because I pretty much started where I was in a group and I was like, that's all I knew. I didn't know about being a soloist. I didn't know about certain things that it took to be a solo artist. But what I
Yeah.
did know was I was a hell of a singer, and I did know that I was a hell of a performer. So once
Yeah.
I was able to mesh all that together, as they say, perfect your craft. Once I was able to perfect my craft, it just became, it just became easy, man. And I love what I do. So that's what, and I take
That's the
serious,
trade-off.
and I think that's what that is. That's the trade off, and that's what makes. I always tell people like, I don't really like you can like my music and be like, oh, that's dope and all that good stuff, but judge me once you see me live in person,
Yeah.
because I feel like it's a different vibe than
Absolutely.
than like a
Absolutely.
record.
I want to, and I didn't mention this in the beginning, but I should have. Like, you get, a lot of people. Like in my days as a former rapper and now a DJ, there were people who came before me that I
Mm-hmm.
knew I had to acknowledge it, because if it wasn't for their blood and sacrifice and what they did, I would not be here today doing what I'm doing. So the
Mm-hmm.
names are endless. I'm not going to get into all that, but for R&B, people like Teddy, Keith,
Oh yeah,
Bobby, Donkey, Stevie, Luther,
yes,
Rick,
yes,
Smokey,
yes.
the
Uh,
Motown era in general,
yeah,
just
oh
hands
yes,
down,
Mr.
you know,
David Ruffin is
yeah,
one of my all time favorites. Let's not forget Marvin Gaye.
yeah,
Let's not forget Sam Cooke, who really
yeah,
laid it down for
absolutely,
everyone. I mean,
Ab-
if you want to, let's give the flowers to Brian McKnight. Let's give the flowers to Boyz II Men, Jodeci, H Town, um, 112, Jagged Edge.
yeah. You could
That
just,
that
we could be here
we
all
can just
night.
run you can just run down the list of people, and I think
Yeah,
that's the difference between the era that we live in now and the one before was people don't really acknowledge the people that did it before them.
yeah,
You know what I mean? They really don't acknowledge the people that did it before them,
no,
and
they don't.
that's
It
a
was
problem for
a
me.
beautiful thing for me. I know I'm jumping ahead, but I just wanted to say this. When I was watching, I think it was the American Music Awards recently,
Hmm.
and to see New Edition and New Kids on the Block together
Yeah,
performing after
which
30 something years, these two groups are still here. And I only mention that because, we have Boston ties, and to know that those two groups came out of Boston and to this day are still as popular as they were back in 85 when they originally started, or around that time frame, you got to tip your cap to that, because so many groups are not together anymore.
That's so true, and it takes, and as we've seen in their stories, I mean, we didn't see New Kids on the Block story, but we've seen New Edition story, and it's a lot of things in this industry that is poison,
Yeah,
and that will separate you, because when you come together, you first have that common goal that you guys want to, you want to be the best. I can remember when my group got together, we wanted to be the best group ever, and we were on track to be the best group ever.
hmm
I still say we're the best group. I still say to people, if we were together right now, couldn't nobody touch us. Like that's just what it is, because of
yeah, powerful.
the influences that we had beforehand, that
hmm
and we honed our crafts individually. It's kind of like how I look at New Edition, right? New Edition is so dope, and the reason why they're so dope is because they had look at what came out of that group. It's not
Yeah,
just the group. It's not, you know what I mean? It's not just like, not saying anybody else is basic or whatever, but they had stars come out of that group. So
yeah.
that's even a bigger success. It's an
hmm
even bigger success story, and that's what I seen from my group coming. I seen us would have been solo artists or doing groups. I seen that coming, writing for people. I
Yeah.
seen all of that coming, but there is the things that you have to be worried about, to get to that level, because
hmm
you're going to be tested.
Yeah.
We never
Yeah.
been tested until you took, you know, 5 kids from Dorchester out of the
Yeah.
hood, you throw
Mm-hmm.
some money in their hand, everything goes different.
Very.
Now the females
Very.
is at you, and most of the females, they want to mess with all of you. They don't want to mess with just one of you. So you got to worry about that.
Mm-hmm.
You got to worry about who's reckless and spending money, who's going to get addicted to the vices, drugs, whatever, you know, all that
Yeah.
stuff. There's so
Oh,
much you have to worry about. So
yeah.
that's why I said, ooh, being in a group is hard. You know, a solo artist, you know, you just got to keep yourself together. You know what
And
I
even
mean?
and even that
And even
is
that
hard.
isn't, and even that,
Yeah.
like you said, even that is a lot. You know,
Yeah.
because there's times, you know, where I'm like, I'm ready to just. I think I wasn't. I've been so much about music my whole life
Mm-hmm.
that once I started to like try to not focus on other things, but just I realized that I never was nothing but Ray Royale. Like some
Yeah.
people would be, you know, and it's like people would be like, "Well, what's Ronaldo like?" And I'm like, I don't really know.
No, and that
Because I've always been Ray Royale. I mean, I always to this day, and you know what I'm saying. Like I'm not a triple famous person. I may be, you know, I got a little buzz in my city or whatever, but it's it's still when I go somewhere, people know me,
mm-hmm.
and it's still like you always got to have that face on
Yeah.
all the time. It's like you can never be like you sometimes. Like sometimes I
Mm-hmm.
just, you know, like my fiance would talk to me and she'd be like, "Oh, what, you know, let's go out here and whatever," and I'm just like, I,
Nope.
you know, because I want to go out, you know, far, so I'm not
Yeah.
running into people, and I don't have to have those because you know now to me is about family and just um being the best that I can be in music.
Right.
And the way to keep all the vices out and keep all the craziness away is just keeping your circle small and keeping your family close. So I think
Yeah.
that's where, you know, like I said, you've been around since the beginning of my career as a solo artist.
Yeah.
So you've kind of even behind the scenes, you've known you could see the growth from
Yeah.
when you know because again I say when we first started our group, we were young kids, and then you start getting all this attention, you start getting all this money, you're gonna go, it's gonna happen. And even when I went solo, it happened. You're getting all this attention, all this, so your head starts, your shoulders come up a little bit. You're like, you start doing
Right.
this, you know. So, um, just my advice to young artists, young up and coming artists that's you know trying to do their thing. One, stay humble. Two, perfect your craft. And three,
Yeah.
give the respect to the people before you because if they ain't open that door, there wouldn't be no door.
Right.
We fighting for R&B right now. That's what people don't understand. We fighting for it right now. We fighting
Yeah.
for it. It's not like in the 1980s and 90s where R&B was the meat of the music industry. Now
Yeah.
R&B is like a close third or fourth down the totem pole. Am I right? Like to
Yeah.
be honest, and people are like once they let rappers like auto tune and start like fake singing,
I hate auto tune.
it kind of watered down
Yeah.
the singing. So now people's like,
I,
oh, that's singing. So then when they hear real singing, they're like, oh, he's old school. Like what?
unless you're Roger Troutman, you can't do auto tune. He was the only one that can do it.
I didn't know you had to. I didn't know if you sing with ad libs and stuff and like can really sing that you're old. I
It's
heard,
crazy.
but
So
I heard somebody say that one day though. That tripped me out though.
wow. So let's actually go back because you mentioned Metro City a lot. Let's take it back
Oh
to
yeah.
the genesis of Ray Royale with 617.
Mm.
It was you and a high
Yeah,
school buddy. You told me offline that it was a trio at first. It started off as a duo and then
yeah,
became a trio and then became
right.
a fourth. Um,
Yeah.
what was the original blueprint for 617 breaking into the game? What was the motivation for y'all to do what y'all did then?
Well,
Speak
we
on it.
just wanted to. Well, we just wanted to be. We just wanted to be local stars, man. We wanted to be the hottest thing in Boston. That was our goal. That was our
Hmm.
goal. At that time, we didn't see, and we wanted to be famous. So that's all we seen. We didn't. And again, we were young kids. We didn't know anything about the business at that time. All we knew is that we could sing and we could dance. That's all we knew. So that's what we did, and that's where I got all my discipline. Being in that group showed me so much. I mean, we practiced religiously 5 to 8 every single day around the
Wow.
house. It didn't matter, rain, sleet, snow. We were at rehearsal. Our manager, shout out to Pops, aka Bo. He had a limousine service, and in the back of his
Nice.
limousine service, he built the stage for us. So we would, yeah, so we would be in the back every day rehearsing. And that's what people don't understand. That's what made us so good.
Mm-hmm.
That's what made us so good. That we rehearsed
Yeah.
every
Rehearsal is
single
everything.
day. And yeah, we were young and we wanted to be with our girlfriends and do this and do that and hang out and all that. But we made our way
Hmm.
that we just made sure we went to rehearsal. We just made
Yeah.
sure we went to rehearsal. And after that, I think I think that kind of that started to build our character and started to build the men that we were going to become because
Right.
it gave us discipline. It gave us we knew we had to be there. You know what I mean? And our manager at the time was very strict about us being there and doing but we were very self sufficient. To be honest, he didn't really have to watch us when it came to
Hmm.
that. I mean, we might have been kids in every other part of life, but when it came to music, we were adults, if
Nice.
that made any sense, because we knew what we had to do, and we did it. And yeah, those are some of the best times of my life. Like those experiences. Because again, it's
Amen.
all
Amen.
about it. It's all about experiences, right?
So,
It's
ladies
all
and
about
gentlemen, if you're just
experiences.
now tuning in, we got the one and only Mr. Ray Royale, aka Mr. I Am R&B, aka Mr. BTS, aka
Oh
Mr.
my
I'll Steal
God.
Your Girl first before Trey Songz did it.
Oh
I'm
my
just saying.
God.
Nah, it's okay.
You
You
know
can brush
what?
it off,
You,
brother.
you
Come
know
on.
you know what though? You know what though?
You can brush it off.
It's
You can
funny.
brush it
It's
off.
funny.
I'm
It's
just,
funny.
yo,
It's funny when people, you know what I'm saying? It's funny when people say that because you just gave me a memory because I remember when I first came out and people were like saying, you know, he's the king of R&B and all this stuff. Like, do you remember that time? You remember that time?
yeah.
And
Oh,
pe-
yeah.
and people and people were like so mad. And it was and to me it was like I wasn't saying that. This is what the fans were saying. I never said that. This wasn't me.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wasn't going on there. I didn't do like what's that boy's name, Jockey, whatever his name is. I didn't do what he did. He said, I didn't say that. The people were
Right.
saying that, and that's what
The people said it
it's
for you.
all
And you
about.
just,
If the people do it for you, but I
yeah.
understand. But I understand. When you first come on the scene and there's people that was before you, and people that because especially on a local scene, it's a bona fide. It's like high school. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Who's the most popular and this and that and but it don't come down to that. It's who got the
No.
most talent. That's what it's about. It's
Right.
about the talent. And but a lot of people are they're in the friend zone, and
Yeah.
they're friends. So they're like, my friend is dope. So it don't matter about this dude who's really good. I'm still
Hmm.
gonna ride with my friend, and that's how your friend's not gonna grow.
Yeah.
The best thing about my career, I've always had people in my corner that would say to me if I did something that they didn't like, they would say it to me, and I love that.
Mm.
Because when you got a bunch of yes men around you that are just like, oh yeah, that's dope. Everything you do, like everything you do is so good. You're never gonna grow. You're never gonna grow, and you're never gonna be like. I mean, we get in the game to be iconic, right? I mean, that's what I think we would get in the game to be, not to just be regular or normal, or just be okay. Like like I want to cement my name in history. Like I want you to be like, yo, I remember when I do used to step on the stage, he always used to. And it's funny because even when I go out anywhere, male or female, they be like, oh yeah, you're that dude that be like, ladies. Like I'm known for that. Like I'm known from that, and that was like a test. Like I literally did that like one day on the whim. Like let me just try this.
Try this out and see what happens.
And see what happens. And that
right.
And that
and it became
what
you just
what
ran
I've
with
been
it.
known for. Right, and that was been what I've been known for. And like, and if I went to shows and I didn't do it, people would be upset.
Yeah.
That's how you know like something is when it gets defined that it's you. That's your thing. That's what, because when people, it's just like when you go to a concert and somebody doesn't sing the song the way they sung it on tape, you be mad.
Yeah.
You be like, because you be waiting for them to hit that note or hit something. And I think for me, I think every time I hit the ladies' note, people were waiting for that. And then everything else I did after that, they were like, all right, I didn't see my part now. I don't care what else he does now. It's just, I was.
Right. I saw that. Was there for that, no doubt. So going back again, because we're gonna fast forward and transcend it and go through the timeline and be up to today. You guys started as a group. It became Metro City and everything. Y'all started performing, opening for the likes of the Temptations, which is huge in itself. But then Donnell Jones and Boyz II Men and all these other great acts. And then you met Ron Fair through A&M Records, and through him, y'all were able to get that deal. And then you also were able to get the development deal with Willie McGinnis's label, 55 Entertainment. Right. Man, so at that point, y'all are like, wow. Look at what we just did. All those days of rehearsing, 3-4 hours a day, it got us to this. But then, then you met Keisha and went on her tour after appearing on one of her records for her first album. So at this point, you guys are getting the tour life now. You're on with a major artist. You're starting to really see what tour life and everything is, having to work with the likes of Kanye and Sean Stockman and The Dream and RL and so many other great people. Where are you all as a group now that all this is happening? Like, you're achieving what you said you wanted to accomplish. What is the mood like right now at this juncture in your career?
I think right at that point, we were very hungry still. We were like, because we wanted our own success, even though we were happy because when Keisha first got signed, we got signed at the same time. So, and we kind of like, it was funny because I was the first person to meet Keisha. I was going to use the restroom and she was coming out of the restroom, and then I was saying hello to her and, just being myself. And we started talking, and I was like, hey, what do you guys do out here? And like, all that stuff, trying to meet new people. And then, she was going into, it's so funny because we ended up, when we laughed about this when we were on tour with each other, that, we ended up being in the same meeting.
Wow.
Because wow. Ron was introducing his new talent. And so we had made a pact that whoever got on first would help the other. And God bless that woman. She did exactly what she said she was going to do. She did exactly what she said she was going to do. And she did that. And we went on tour. And I'm telling you, tour life is very, 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 very different. And I always say you never did nothing until you went on tour. You're like, going on tour is like it's like a whole nother world. And the thing that I wouldn't say shocked me, but we were an unknown group. Nobody knew us. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we hadn't at that time. We did Superstar with Keisha, but nobody knew that we did Superstar. Nobody knew that that was us singing on the song.
Yeah.
Um, and was able to make a stamp on that tour as an unknown group. Like we basically went from starting off the show to right before Keisha went on in a
Yeah.
short amount of time. So the tour was like 30 days. So I want to say
Mm-hmm.
like the 15th day, we had already put our stamp on it. Because you know we
Yeah.
were getting treated like how people would get treated. You know when you first start out, they're like, "Oh, y'all don't get no mic check, nothing. You know, just go on stage, do your thing." But then once we started going out there, and girls were like, you know, passing out and trying to run on the stage, and you know, like it's crazy because when we were in LA at the House of Blues, like, and Dwayne Martin, I'll never forget that came back to us. Like it's crazy. Like you look at stuff and I was like, yo, I had Dwayne Martin in my room. Dwayne Martin like came in my room,
Hmm.
me and my boy
Right.
Cyrus's room, and was talking to us like we was like it's just things that, like people that you looked up to, you know what I'm saying? You grew up watching, and now they're looking at you like, yo, you guys are the next thing. You know what I mean? So it was
Mm-hmm.
like, you know, being around the Queen Latifahs and everybody is just like it was just an experience that I could never ever, man. Shout out to Little Zane. I remember Little Zane. Little Zane is like the coolest dude ever. One of the dudes, you know, shout out to Buster. Shout out to Justin Timberlake. Yo, I had like an hour conversation with Justin Timberlake at the record plant.
Wow.
And
That's crazy. That's
yeah,
crazy.
man,
Wow. That's
like
something I
yo
didn't know. Thanks for telling me, man.
that like that dude is so like that dude is so cool and like chill. Like you would never you could never like when someone has reached such a high level, and for
Yeah.
them to be having a conversation with you just like how we're having a conversation right now, and it be
Yeah.
so genuine and whatever, and people trying to really just give you gems about the business, and you know what you're getting yourself ready for is something special, man. And that to me was really a special time in my life, because being around those people and being around songwriters who didn't necessarily being around songwriters who didn't necessarily like they were hit songwriters, but they had to understand the dynamic of who we were. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what stopped us from becoming what we were supposed to become, because
Mm-hmm.
people were like, they look like this, so then they tried to put these type of songs on us, and it didn't work. When I was like, no, we're supposed to look like this but sing love. That's what
Yeah.
people want to hear. Like they don't want to
Yeah.
hear us trying to be rappers. We're not rappers. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that was you go through those things. So at that time we were going through the point of trying to find ourselves and trying to find like our sound.
Mm-hmm.
Our sound was there a cappella. Like as you know,
Right.
because remember back then it was more about singing. So
Yeah.
we established who we were as singers. But I think as far as just recording on tape,
Mm-hmm.
we didn't we didn't find who we were, because there were certain lead singers at the time, and you know, and the sound of what they were putting off was not the sound that Ron Fair signed.
Mm-hmm.
So we were having internal issues with that. So and plus internal issues in the group as well. Like
So is
just
that what led to the falling out at that point?
yeah, of course, we started to outgrow each other. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, I'll take full responsibility for. I was the one who left because I just was tired of just going in a circle.
Mm-hmm.
If I looked at it as we were in the car and we just kept driving around the block. That's the way I looked at it.
Yeah.
We wasn't growing. We wasn't trying to grow, because one thing you can't let nobody do when you're doing music, or anything in life, that is is let other people be in your ear telling you what you should be doing or what you shouldn't be doing. And that was our problem. There was people like, oh
Right.
no, Ray, you should be a lead singer. You don't need them. Oh no, this person, you don't need them. No, we needed each other. That was the thing that made us who we were. But once
Right.
we didn't realize that, that's when the demise of the group happened, and that's when it was just pretty much over.
Mm-hmm. And I have to assume that it was hard for you to walk away from something that you all built for so long. It wasn't like it
Well,
was just a year and you were out. This was multiple
right.
years,
Oh yeah,
multiple
this is
emotions.
yeah, we were a group for 12 years. So
Yeah,
that's a long time, man. That's like a prison sentence or something, man. Like, so it's
yeah,
like, so
yeah,
for me it was like, but I also thank God for it, because if I would have stayed in that group, I would have never been Ray Royale. So
yeah. So
it, it,
something had to happen for
yeah,
this
something
to
they
happen.
would have never been the growth that happened today for not only me but other members of the group as well, would have never
Yeah,
grown into who they are today off of
right.
being in that
That,
being
that,
in that group, because at that time we had everything. You have that, oh, this person's the lead, or this person is this and this person's that and this and that and this, and that wasn't the way our group was designed. But once you started letting other chiefs get in there and start saying this, y'all should do this and y'all should do that and this and this and this and that, and then you got other internal issues with girls and this and drugs and this and that. You're gonna it's gonna be bad. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like it's gonna be bad, and that's just what it is. It sucks, but
yeah,
that's just life. I mean, that's life. And if you don't, I've always been a person that I pride myself on being about respect and respecting individuals around me. And once I felt like we wasn't respecting each other no more as individuals, we had to let it go.
yeah. That's crazy. That was deep.
And it definitely and
Wow.
it definitely was hard, because I started that group, so that was definitely hard for me. But at the end of the day, it's like, and it's like sometimes, man, I feel bad because it's really like no memory of us like out there, unless somebody got it like on a VCR tape or something. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing like really on YouTube like that you could see like us or whatever. So um, that pretty sometimes I get my feelings about that. I be like, man, because sometimes, even though I'm way past that, and that's still a part of my life that I like to reflect on
Yeah,
sometimes,
you
because
would still want to see it just to be like, man, those times
yeah,
right there.
right. Because
Like,
even when I hear
yeah,
our music, like, I mean, our music is on like YouTube and stuff like that. Like, but I mean, visually, like, there's no visual stuff of us. Like,
yeah,
I mean, there was like a few years ago, like, this had to be when like MySpace was out. Like, we had like an acapella of us singing or whatever, but that eventually got taken down. So like, there's nothing like visually of us out there, but you can always hear the music. And I love to go back. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, like, like I said, that was a beautiful time for me, because I learned so much. I learned so much, and I just applied it to my my career
yeah.
going forward.
So
So
let's talk about your career going forward now. So, um, Coming for the Crown, I think was the first one, 2010, if memory serves
2010.
me.
Oh my God,
And you had
man!
you. What's up?
I said, dang, man, coming for the
Hey,
crowd. Oh
come
my
on, man.
God.
I know. I remember that album. I truly remember it because it was first of all, it was your first one, and great artists and people who know the artists will remember the first shot. Um,
Right.
for for me, it was like for me listening to that album, it was just like, okay, this guy's on his own now, and I really wasn't familiar with Metro City, so I didn't have really nothing to premise it on.
Hmm.
But listening to this guy, I'm like, man, this guy can really sing, and I'm impressed with the way that he put this album together, I can only imagine what he's going to sound like 4 or 5, 6 years from now, 7 years from now, 10 years from now, where he's going to go. Because I see the passion in it. And that's the one thing that outbeats just about anything is the passion for it. If you have it, it'll show. You don't gotta tell nobody nothing. You just let the passion speak. Riff Style, what up, bro?
Exactly.
That brother right there.
That is so true.
So going forward, you just release these records and start to take name. And I think one of the biggest showcases at the time that was going on in Boston was the Boston Talent Showcase. Shout out to Kiev and shout out to D Loops and Brian Trent. Literally just put a showcase like that. And for DJs like myself, I like going to events like this because it gives me a chance to see who's out there.
Right.
That's the reason why I go. And I always say this to local artists or artists anywhere, get to know who the DJs are in your city. No matter what they do. Some are on radio, some do mixtapes, some will premiere records, some will just have that visual presence to do what I'm doing and have a podcast to promote stuff. Know who your DJs are. And lots of these local artists don't know, can't even name 6 DJs that are in the city. Yeah, you can name Drew and Dex and me and Ill Nil and Jeff 2 times, but there's 40 other DJs like Real P and so many other great DJs, a lot of female DJs that we can all give your music to all of us because we could be your jukebox. We can ride for you and play the song at this event, that event, and people will get to know who you are and everything.
I think a lot of that has to do. Well, I can at least speak for our city. A lot of that has to do with we're very cliquish in Boston. So like everyone has their little their vices, their people that they rock with or whatever. Because I'm pretty sure once your name starts to develop out there, people know who you are. They know to reach out to you, or you reach out to them, or however it goes. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like for me, I'm just not going to beg nobody to play my music. That's just, I've never been like that. I never will be like that. If that's not your cup, that's not your cup of tea or whatever, that's fine. Like that's fine. But for the people that do rock with it and do support it or whatever, I'm always gonna send you the records. I'm always, and that's just what it is, and that's how I've been from the beginning. So, and I feel like the scene will grow once we get past that whole click stuff. Like, yeah, that's my man. Like, I'm gonna play something. Like, once you get over that and you start to look at the talent for what it is, and what you really need to be breaking, and stuff will change, man. Like, more doors will open. But that's a whole nother conversation
for a whole nother time. Exactly. So once again, BTS was like a mainstay for artists like yourself, and you eventually earned the title Mr. BTS because you were there so much. D was like, let's just give him a lead spot because he's consistent. He constantly contributes to the art, and our stage is growing bigger because of artists like him. He's getting big, and also salute Talise Rivers as well, who was a main part of your career at the beginning. Mm-hmm. Big up to Talise every day.
All day. And again, back for also for BTS. Shout out D. Shout out Key. Shout out Brian. I seen Brian last night. I seen Bernard last night. Actually at my show. And I gave them their flowers too, man. There last night. Because a lot of people don't understand if it wasn't for BTS, like if it wasn't, that wasn't even in that was at Slade. That wasn't even at like a city winery or a Hard Rock Cafe or like that was in Slade, and that was the best show in Boston. And one of the things I loved about BTS was it was always a vibe when you went there. Yeah. It wasn't like when you have shows other places, and I ain't down to no other places or nothing like that. But when you were at BTS, it's like people were there to see that show. Yeah. You might have had some people that were like watching the game or something like that, but even then, they would even get into the show. A lot of times, a lot of venues now that you go to, people are like, if they're really there to watch the basketball game, they're really watching the basketball game. They're not into the, into the art or whatever. But that audience that was BTS fans, and they were really behind. They were really behind the artist,
Yeah.
and they were like again, shout out to them because that audience really pushed me to my name being known like that because of the way, because that's when video was starting to pick up, and you see all these girls hollering and all this, and that's what's so dope is that people wasn't scared to say, yo, he's the shit. They wasn't
Yeah.
scared to do that, and like they showed that. Where now it's kind of a case that if you do good, a female inbox you and be like, oh, you were good.
Yeah.
Then it was like everyone was like hugging. It was just a blessed time, and man, I wish
One of
something like
the
that was still out there.
one of the things I want to add to that is some of your records, you were able to do some of your collaborations with people you met there. Like you and Greatness got
Exactly,
together.
like me and Greatness,
You and
exactly.
RnB got together. You
Yep,
constantly did stuff with Genius.
right.
These are people that all performed there. So it was like I said, I like going to places like this because
Mm-hmm.
as a DJ who was doing radio at the time, I get
Mm-hmm.
to meet the talent that represents the city. And I'm thinking, dang, I would like to interview him. I like to bring him on. But at the same
Right.
time, you all can network yourself and come up with future collaborations that would just,
And I think that was
you,
so
you
dope,
never know what
especially
could come
for.
out of that.
I
So,
think that was so dope for me and G, especially
yeah,
because we were two R&B cats in the city. And again, the way the city moves is everybody want to be against each other instead of together.
right.
They wanted us to be pitted against each other. You know what I mean? But when you got two confident artists that are good and they know that they're good and they're secure in who they are, they can go and
Yeah,
make records together. Right? Chris Brown, right? Usher, right? The list goes on of people who are secure in it. So that was
right.
dope to me was being able to collab with other people. And me, I'm very funny with collabs too. So if I collab with you or if I do anything musically with you, that means
Yeah,
one that I believe it. That means one that I believe in you, and two that I see that you take it serious.
yeah.
So
Amen.
so that to me, like, yeah, you can have all the talent in the world, but if you ain't
Hmm.
serious, I don't want no parts of it. Because what are we gonna do with it? I mean, there's so many people that come to me all the time, like, "Yo, Ray, can you do a hook for me? All right, what are we gonna do with this song? I don't know. Talk to me when you got a plan."
You mean you don't know what?
And there's like you can't sit on records, man. Especially
Yeah,
nowadays when music is just constantly coming out. It's just constantly
yeah.
coming out. You can't have it sitting on your computer. Because
I mean,
the
right,
sound.
right now, though. Right. I'm sorry to cut you off. Right
No,
now,
it's fine.
it's like right now it's like a time where you really don't know what you want to do with it because we're on lockdown so much you can't really perform anywhere. Right. So this is a perfect time to create all that you can, but you still have to have the vibe though. There still has to
But
be
you
a
but you
connection.
know but you know
Part.
what you can. I think being on lockdown helped a lot of people. I know
Oh
it
yeah,
helped me. I know it helped. I know it helped me. What it did for me was it made me be, and just like me and you are big wrestling fans. So what we heard the wrestlers talk about was them learning how to wrestle with no one there.
yeah,
So for me, learning how to sing and do the same thing that I would do in a live show with nobody there, meaning doing a virtual show, that
yeah.
was big. That was big for me because I really needed to know, could I do that? Because
Hmm.
because as performers, we go off of what? We go off of the crowd. If the crowd is giving you that love, you giving them
Yeah,
everything.
you
So
get it right back. Yep.
if no one's there, it's like how am I being able to project this energy? And
Hmm.
so me being able to do a couple of virtual shows and just being able to have lives and all this stuff that we can jump on and just there's no
Yeah,
excuse for you not putting music out. There's no excuse for people not knowing you because we could sit on live and sing every day or rap every day or DJ every day,
yeah.
or dance every day.
Hmm.
You can do this. It's just like if you're a regular person, you can go and take a picture every day and tell people where you're at. or whatever. So
Right.
the invention of social media has helped artists a lot, because
Yeah.
the stuff that
Yeah.
we had to do more groundwork before. You know, when we were coming up, we had to, we really had to like pass out flyers and get people to come to your show, which honestly, I still feel like you need to do that, because just posting like, oh, I'm gonna be
That
here
was
tonight.
crazy. Grassroots, still the way to
Like
go.
that doesn't necessarily mean people are gonna be there. I know when I do when I do my own personal shows, I still print flyers and everything and pass them out, because that's the way that people's gonna get in the building. Because before, other than that, it ain't gonna happen like that. Because again, when people are scrolling, I'm a scroller, so I know if it's
Right.
not something I'm interested in, I'm going. Whoop, 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 whoop.
So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, if you're just now tuning in, we got Ray Royale. We're gonna be up here for probably another 15 or so minutes, and then I'm gonna make myself something to eat. But I want to talk about one of the most important events in your career. Yeah. You already know which one this is, but let me just set the premise for this, because I was born in New York City, and there are lots of places that you perform all around the world that are just hard to win over an audience. And without question, the hardest place in the US of A to win over audience is the world famous Apollo Theater, where dreams are born and stars are made, is the moniker that they say. But that audience is hard. They will, first of all, New York, we don't filter. If you're whack, we gonna tell you right then and there. We don't care how you feel, we gonna tell you. And if you've watched Showtime at the Apollo, when they start booing, it gets louder before your performance is done. You will, before you hear the Sandman come out, you will hear the boos first.
Right.
Hands down. You've watched it. We've all watched it.
Right.
So here we are. Ray Royale is about to, and you didn't tell me this. I saw it on Instagram where you were talking about, I just got accepted. I saw the number. I'm going to be on Showtime at the Apollo during amateur night. And I already knew we were going to do good. I already knew. I'm like, there's no way in hell that this brother is going to get booed. If he gets booed off this stage, I'm going to say something is wrong with my city, because New York is not ready for it. However, I didn't know what song you was going to do, because when we did talk, you was just like, I can't wait to get up there. I was like, when are you going? I can't wait to hear it. Make sure you film it so I can see it. I wish I could go with you. All that good stuff.
Yep.
And I wanted to ask what you were going to do, but I was like, nah, let me just wait and be surprised. Now, at the time, it was Dougie Fresh, Tony Rock was the host, Gladys Knight, and Michael Bivins. And everybody knows who Dougie Fresh is, one of the greatest hip hop artists of all time. You already know Gladys Knight is top tier everything. I mean, come on, that's Gladys Knight. And Michael Bivins, first and foremost, not only is he part of one of the greatest R&B groups of all time, but he's also the man who discovered Boyz II Men, Another Bad Creation. He discovered MC Brain. He discovered all these great talents, even later on, Subway and then Beantown Boys, even though that didn't really work out too well. But Michael Bivins has his hand in just about everything. And still New Edition is going on strong today. Their tour is about to start. I wish I could go. Lord, that tour is going to be amazing. But he was in the audience. So here comes Ray Royale out. Black leather jacket, black pants, all black everything. And he's just like, yeah, I'm from Boston, Mass. I'm just here to do what I do. And this man starts to sing Can You Stand the Rain by New Edition. I'm like, he got balls to do that in front of Michael Bivins. But hey, if you're going to make an impact statement, why not just do it like you're supposed to do it? And what I noticed, and I'm glad that Mike Bivins said this, but you hit all the ranges of Ralph, Ricky, and Johnny's parts. You managed to do all three of their voices and do it, I don't want to say better than they did it, because that's impossible, but it was that close. And after it was all done, I'm just watching Tony Rock like, pushing Royale like as if he just won the NBA championship, as if he just beat Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. This guy is literally like singing your praises, but then the feedback from the legends. How did that make you feel? I mean, never mind the audience applause, which was a standing ovation, which I'm sure was also dope, but to hear the feedback from legends that have been doing this now, you got to think Dougie, 30 years plus, Gladys, 40, maybe 50 years plus, Bivens alone, another 30, 40 years. So that's almost 100 years of creativity from geniuses about to critique you. When you heard their critiques, what was when you left the stage, what was going through your head knowing that what you just accomplished?
Um, to be honest, I was in a state of shock. And if you watch me on TV, there was a real bright light that was shining in my face, so I couldn't really see. So as they were talking to me, but I have to talk about the crowd first because
Okay.
that's what put me into the trance that I was in. Because one, I'd never felt, whether I was in my group or a solo artist, I never felt an ovation like that. It was, I still get emotional about that today. It was 3 standing ovations. Like, and you're not going to see all that on TV, but for 5 whole minutes, people were on their feet giving respect to what I just did. And to me, I'm going to be honest, I didn't feel like that was my best goal. I felt like it was good, but I felt like there's times that I've been other places and me. That's for me.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else, they'll look at it like it was a great performance. But me personally, I was like, it was okay. And that's just me being hard on myself. Just me being who I am. But
Yeah.
it was just a feeling that, and if you ever watch my post or whatever, I always say it's nothing like being under those lights. And that came from that night because that was a night that I will never, ever forget. Like, just from the people showing that much love, 5 whole minutes. I mean, 5 whole minutes. Like you got to where there was controversy with the producer who brought someone else in, saying the person who ended up really winning, who really lost because no one really knew her. And I got
Mm-hmm.
all the social media backup and everything from that. But the producer was upset because everyone wanted me to win from the time that they
Yeah.
heard me, before we even went out. But the
Yeah.
producer had brought someone in from a previous Apollo or Showtime at the Apollo, and I was like their golden person.
Mm-hmm.
So when I just totally shattered this person, they were like, you know, she made the call that they wasn't gonna make a pick. So as you can see on TV, we never stood there and was like this person won or whatever. That
Wow.
never happened. that
Damn.
that never happened. But
That's
it didn't suck. You know why? Because that night I got over 5,000 followers that night, and everybody in there, whoever watched that show, was tweeting about me. So
wow.
I won.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You did win, but
So I won. And just the critiques from and then let's get to the legend part, the critiques.
yeah.
To hear Gladys Knight sing to you, first of all. She sung to me.
Yeah, she
And
did.
then was just like nothing but giving me praise. Like just the way you came out, just you knew, you know, and the same thing for Dougie. Like Dougie was like, you came out here like you knew you was gonna win. Like you knew, like you've been doing this, which I
Yeah.
have. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And just you know, and again to hear Michael Bibb, the legendary, his song. You
Yeah,
know
that's
what I mean?
yeah, his song.
To hear that critique about his song and say you know what I'm saying, they're gonna be proud when they hear this, is like
Yeah.
that's something that you ain't never gonna forget. Like and to this day I haven't done anything even close to that. And I've done probably stuff a little bit bigger than that. Like, I did the Red Sox versus Yankees. It was like 40,000 people at Fenway Park.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was huge. That was
Right.
huge. That was huge. And it's moments like that, man, that it's just you never ever forget. Even that moment, like I can imagine, like just being out there, and you would think like you would have some type, like I felt like I was supposed to be there. Like
Yeah.
I had no worries, and like I just went out there and was like, I'm about to just shut it down. Like that was my attitude. It was a beautiful thing,
I
man.
want to piggyback off that because the way you got in, and I won't say you had to kiss ass to get in, but salute to Jo, who we all know. You've
Yes.
done shows with him many times, and he works at Fenway.
Mm-hmm.
So to have
Mm-hmm.
someone like that, like, you know what, I can pretty much get anyone I want here. I
Mm-hmm.
want Ray. I want people like Ray. I want people like Marcella Cruz who are doing things in that city to come here and
Right.
do this. You're going to be on TV.
And that's what's so big that, and shout out to Jay. Appreciate you, brother. Like that man. That's why whenever he calls me, like I don't care. I'm always like, yeah. Even before I actually this year I did the first game back from COVID.
Wow.
Yeah, I did.
But you went back more than once.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, of course, yeah. Well, the
Awesome.
first time I did it, I did God Bless America. So in the seventh inning stretch, so I did that. The second time I went, I did the national anthem, and then the third time again, with COVID, I did the anthem again. And it's
Wow.
just each time was special in its own little way, because just the last time before COVID, we were on lockdown and so on and so forth, and I had a lot of trauma personally that I went through. So being able to that was actually like my first show back on stage, and probably the first time I really opened my mouth to sing in like that whole year.
Mm-hmm.
So that was big for me. That was huge for me.
Word up, word up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, if you're just now tuning in, we got the one and only Ray Royale here. Definitely just chopping it up now. We've covered everything. Here we are in 2022. What can we expect from Ray Royale now? I know you got the new single out. Definitely talk about that. But what are we going to see from Ray Royale in 2022? And I also want to talk about verses coming up, because those are two probably your favorites, including one you've actually opened up for. And we're going to get into all that. But let's just talk about what's up and coming for Ray Royale. What can your fans, your people expect from you in 2022?
Consistency, and just new music, new visuals. I'm working on a new project. The Book of Ray is coming real soon. Got the lead singles coming, and the video and all that's going to come soon. It's called I'm Back, and that's pretty much letting everybody know, I'm back. Because I felt like, being a public figure, people kind of like know what you go through via posting and things like that. So I think people were waiting for me to put out a record and talk about leaving a bad situation and talk about all that, and I didn't want to do that. I want to talk about what happens after that. So that's where I'm Back came from, because it's like, why talk about the misery? Talk about you coming out of that misery and what is coming next. So I think this is what you're going to see is the redemption of Ray Royale. This is, and I was in my song, I was saying, I'm back to being me. Yes, back to being me fully, 100.
Let me also, on a personal note, and I know, and I've learned over the years not to be all out on social media talking about everything that I've done. I've really learned how to not be so open But I do want to congratulate you on the engagement. Congratulations,
Oh,
sir.
I appreciate that. You know,
If
I
I'm
want to
not
touch on that.
DJing that wedding, we're gonna have problems.
I want to I want to touch on that. Of course, I want to touch on that though, right? For many years, I was so afraid to talk about being in a relationship. I was because I'm a R&B crooner. The 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 majority of my fans are women. So I always was like, if they knew I had someone, they would turn against me. That's what was in my head for the longest.
Hmm.
And I could tell you now how much of fresh air it is to just be in love and be able to just show it and
Yeah,
not have no care. You know what I mean? And not be worried about nothing, not be in no fear that, because eventually you have to learn that if people rock with you, they're gonna rock with you regardless if you got someone or not. And it was, which this was a very easy transition for me because the fans are embracing her, which is a beautiful thing. Versus if it was the other way around, it'd be kind of
yeah.
harder.
I know that situation, so I
Yeah,
like this one. Yeah,
right. So it's so refreshing, man, and it's so happy. It's so I feel so good that I can just post a picture of someone, and and do it with no care, and do it with not like, oh my God, is this gonna happen? Like like I said, it's a beautiful thing, and just truly like being in love
yeah,
and being able to I feel like that's making my art even better too. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Because now you really, really have something to sing about and really, really, and it's genuine versus like, because sometimes when you're writing songs, sometimes it comes from a bad place. It's not always like it's coming from a good place. So
hmm,
I can honestly say that this was it's a forward motion for me. I'm different now.
next time I come to Boston, I have to meet her.
Yes, of
And
course.
eventually, you need to meet my missus because
Yes.
you, you've heard me talk about her so much, and you've seen all the pictures. I definitely
I feel like I know her already. So.
3
I
years,
really do.
yo, bro, 3 years. On the 18th, it'll be 3 years. Me and her, 3 years.
Oh my God. But you know what though?
Yeah.
You know what though? You know what though? I was so happy for you, brother. And like I love to see black love, man. And you see that smile that you have on your face?
Okay. Don't do it. Don't do it.
No. I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest, and people need to. And this is what's wrong because people on the internet who aren't that happy, who don't got that smile on their face,
Yeah.
they don't like that smile. You know what I mean? So to see that, so I love stuff like that, man. When I see people in relationships and they happy, and when you also see the people that don't really want you to be happy, don't want you to be in a relationship and all that. So man, I'm so happy, and you got a great woman, man, who has elevated you, man, and you know what I mean. You guys have elevated each other, and that's what it's about. You know what I mean? And that's what it's about. And just take a time to thank God for that every day because
Yeah. 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 Michaela, if you're
when you don't.
watching, love you, girl.
I, I,
um,
I truly like that. I truly like her for you, man. Excuse me, not like her for you. I truly love her for you. You know what I'm saying? Because
well, I
because she
appreciate
puts
that,
that
man.
smile
Where's
on
your
your
lady
face.
at, man? Bring her into the camera. Where's she at, real quick? Let me just say hi to her. If you want to, you don't have
I
to.
don't know. I don't
Uh,
know if she's gonna want to see. She wants to. You want to come over to the camera and say hi to the people?
you don't
Oh,
have to if you don't want to. It's all
she
right.
has to put her sweater on. She's coming. She's a
Okay.
little shy.
Um,
She.
before we bring her on, though, one question I didn't want I forgot to ask in the beginning. What are your 5 favorite R&B albums of all time?
um. Um. Let's see. Whoa, that's a good one. That's a good one. What's going
I already
on?
know one of them. Bobby Brown,
What's
Don't
going?
Be Cruel. That's one of them.
Of course, of course. Don't be cruel. What's going on? Marvin Gaye. Um, J.E. Heartbreak. Um, what's Boyz II Men's second album?
Two.
I think two. And Jodeci Cry For You. Is that Diary of a Madman?
Yeah. I'm also going to add two more for that I'm surprised you didn't mention, but I
And I gotta
understand.
say
New
confession.
Edition
Gotta say confessions. I gotta say confessions.
and New Edition Heartbreak, I believe. Would that be one of
Heartbreak.
them?
Of course. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Of
I mean,
course.
there's so
Of
many.
course. Of course. And that's the thing. But it's hard it's hard to go when it's like your tops, because it's
Yeah.
like it's so many iconic songs or stuff that did, like Jodeci and Boyz II Men for me when I was growing up, like when I was becoming a singer, were everything for me. So like they're gonna be to the top of the list. Period.
Yeah.
You
Absolutely.
know what I mean? Even I didn't discover people that like Marvin Gaye's and the Sam Cooks until I got older, and I was like doing research on myself. So you're ready now. So we're gonna introduce the Mrs.
Hey, there she is. My lady, I just want to say now that you're here, and it's just it's amazing to see, because I know Ray's backstory. We've been up and down this road 15 years at least, and to see the pictures of y'all,
Mm-hmm.
especially the latest one where you're rocking, I think the purple outfits or whatever. I'm not sure which picture it was, but you got a diamond in the rough here, and to see where he's come from and how far he has mentally grown, to see someone that makes him smile like this, where it's not forced, where it's just because he's genuinely this. I don't know what you did, but keep doing it. And I can't wait to see you walk down that aisle and make this official, not only for whoever's going to be in attendance, but to basically put a final stamp on what it is you all are trying to build now. So keep doing what you're doing. The both of y'all look great. I'm happy to see that this brother is truly excited with someone that he can grow with. And I can't wait to meet you in person with my missus. We're going to come to Boston. We can do like a dinner date somewhere, and we can just vibe and laugh and joke and shit and just make it work. But my blessings to you, sister. Salute all day. And thank you for being in this man's life. I hope you're giving value to him, and he's giving value to you. I love you both.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And you all are matching right now. Let me find out what's this matching stuff going. Look at what is it? Tweedledee and Tweedledum now? Look at y'all matching. I can't get off my camera now. Let me stop. I love y'all, man. Keep doing what you're doing. So two last things, Ray, and then we're gonna wrap this up. One question is, what is your favorite album that you put out?
Oh man, why you got to do this to me?
Come on, you know I asked some good questions.
I gotta go with, if I had to go with something, I gotta go with Ready.
Okay. And why Ready?
Because at that time I was in a transition of who I wanted to be. Because you struggle, where I've always been the type of artist where I wanted people to know that I was a great singer.
Mm-hmm.
And I needed to try other type of styles of singing.
Yeah.
So when I did Ready, I felt like at that time that title meant so much to me, because I felt like I was ready to take on the industry at that point. I felt like I had a song, I felt like I had the right image, I felt like everything at that point in time, I was like, this is it. Where I do have, like, Coming for the Crown is a close second to me, because that was my first one, and I had a lot of passionate songs on there, a lot that probably are still unnoticed to this day, but I think each one was very had its own significance. You Lust, You Love, You Learn, that had probably one of my favorite songs, Screenshots. That was one of my favorite records, one of my favorite videos to do. But if I have to put a number one, it was Ready. Just that whole time period, the Ready, because at that time I was like a lot bigger, and Like the self confidence wasn't there in respects to that, and at that time I went real heavy in the gym, man, and all the pieces played together. So when the video finally came out and people actually got to see me and all this, it was just big for. It was a really, really good time. So yeah, Ready's my favorite. I mean, I can't forget Journey to Ecstasy because I have a bunch of records on Journey to Ecstasy that I actually love too. So yeah, that's one of. Let me get in an interview chair for a minute. I was somebody that knows all my music. That knows all my music. What's your favorite Ray Royale song?
I have told you this before. It's Our Song with Violet. That's my favorite.
That is, and you know what? And that's a song that nobody even really knows like that. That's crazy. Yeah. Favorite album, EP album.
Well, I could say all of them, but that would be the easy cop out. Dad, this is hard. Damn.
Did that to me. Let me take a guess for you. Let me take a guess.
Okay.
If I'm thinking of you and I'm thinking of your personality, I would say Coming for the Crown was, to be honest. Like that's what I would say. If I know you. If I know you.
I mean, yeah, coming to the Crown was definitely it because it was the first shot. Like Cooley High Harmony was to me, or Where I Want to Be by Donnell. Just like every single song just hit. But Where I Thought You Came Into Your Own and Growth was the Journey to Ecstasy album for me. I think that's where you came into your own growth wise, and you were more confident then. Not to say that you weren't already confident, but you were more confident and be like, all right, I've been down this road. I know the recording process. I know what it takes. But let me try to adhere to what's current and trending and popular, but still add my niche to it. And I think that's what I like.
You know what was crazy about that when I started that album, right? It's almost the same thing. Like like I'll contact you, or I'll contact people that I got love for and who respect my music, and I talk to you guys about what do you think about this song, or what do you think about this? So I was doing a music video with Jay Hunt. Shout out to Jay Hunt, and Jay was like, "Yo, man, you're one of like the best singers, man. I've been around, man, but yo, you don't got no fast songs." So he's like, "Yo, the moment you sing like a fast song, I'm telling you, watch."
Yeah, and that record, whoa.
So what I did was, I did one of these. I was like, okay, and it was so funny. 2 days later, I called him and I played "Looking for Love." I played it to him, and he just was like, "Yo," he was like, "Yo, I didn't know I was gonna put fire under you like that." And I was like, "Yeah, man, like, but you need people to tell you the stuff like that. You know what I mean? That's why I love having people. I love having people that I trust in my ear to give me that feedback, because he's like, "Yeah, man, like this record's dope. This record's dope." And it's so funny because that song tied everything else in.
Oh man, that record alone. I mean. Like, I've heard the Chris Brown's Loyals and the Trey Songz and Nanas and all those club bangers and everything like that. But when I was like, wait a minute, is this Mr. Ballad Ray Royale? The man that has every single ballad that's on point and all that, because you don't do fast songs a whole lot. Like, yeah, Screenshots and Sex Drive and all that, great records and everything. Right. But even in that was still in a lane where it was just like real mellowed and not really club bangers, even though they were. But then this record, I had to do I'm like, man, I wish I was on radio right now just so I could pull this up a few times and But I remember playing it on Facebook Live for everyone when I got it, and I'm like, even when I was editing it, because you asked me to edit it out, and I was like, yo, I can't hardly edit this because this bananas right now. I don't want to edit it. I just want to be like, and that's the vibe that I got. But I liked it because you were not afraid to try something that you have not done yet, and I think that was the best part about it is you got to do something that you haven't done yet, but it gave something for people to talk about once again, and you won
Right.
for that. I'm just like, all right, he's did it all now. He's done the slow records, he's done the storytelling records, he's done the club bangers that you could play, and now he's done a mainstream record that has his niche on it, and he's like, yeah, this is me. Here we go. So. Whew, I can't wait to see what follows that. So I'm waiting for 2022. I can't wait to see what you do next. Let me
so
go
dope.
to,
It's so bum. I was having a conversation with my fiance. She's like, "Yeah, baby, you know, I love your music, you know." But she gave me that same talk, like, I just wanted to see you do some more up tempo stuff, like, you know. I'm like, so I did the thing again, like, okay, just remember you
yeah,
said.
all right. She's like, I'm listening. I mean, because she's not only your fiance, she's also a fan, a consumer, and fans know best. I mean, like
Yeah, they know what they want to
it's like,
hear. They know what they hear.
huh?
They know what they want
It's
to
like
hear.
when I'm DJing. It's like when I'm DJing, I'm not playing for myself.
Right.
I could hate half the stuff that I'm playing, but it ain't about me. And that's the same thing for artists too. You gotta like cater to what's trending and popular, but still somehow just put your own spin on it and still be you. Although
Right.
you're trying to cater to what's current and popular out there. So I applaud you. And that's not easy to do, especially when it's a style that you're not really too familiar with and or like, but you're still going to try to do your best to just work it out and get new fans alike to say, yo, that dude he did that, or I'm rocking with him now. So
Right.
so much I wanna end this interview just by saying we've been through a lot personally. We're not gonna talk about the bad stuff, we don't need to. I really hated the fact, and I'm gonna say this, I gotta be open on this. I hated the fact that we had a falling out. I hated it.
Oh,
It was weird because I'm like, wait, I'm not that type of person. He knows I don't. I am not a gossip person. I don't talk about anybody at any time. I'll hear word of mouth or whatever else have you, but I'm not the one that wants to spread stuff. I can't. I'll feel so awful if I spreaded someone's personal business out there or whatever else have you. But when we stopped falling out, I'm like, dang, man. But that's why I kept reaching out to you afterward. I'm like, come on, brother. Let's try to get past this. Please, let's try to get past this. Whatever this is, let's get past it because. And even still, even if you didn't ask, I'd be like, oh, let me just edit this record for him anyway, just so we can bring it to Big City or wherever he goes. Because I'm just saying, yo, the love never ends just because we ain't talking. I'm still one of your
bad.
biggest supporters.
You know how bad I felt at that time. You know, I was angry, but I was. It's almost like you build up. You know, like this is more than just DJ and an artist. You know, like you're like my brother. So like
Yeah.
it falling out with your brother. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, it was emotional because we did so much with each other. So it's kind of like you know you're mad, but you're thinking like, but this is, you know what I'm saying? Like this is really like this is not my blood, but it might as well be because
Yeah.
we done broke so much bread with each other, like, and been, you know, a lot of like I said, like you have been around from the beginning of my solo career till today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, and to have, you know, you already know in these days and times that we live in, you don't have constant people in your life who are consistent and who actually give a damn, you know, and who actually care. So that was a huge blow for me. But once I got out of my feelings and I was like, you know what, man, like at the end of the day, like this man has done X, Y, and Z. all this over here doesn't mean anything, man. And I was so happy that we was able to, like, you know, come back. And then when we came back, it was like we never, we
Yeah,
never
it was
left.
like picked up right where it left off. So I'm glad that it happened, and yeah, and here we are. So ladies and gentlemen, to everyone watching, if you have any issue with anybody, whether it's a family member, a loved one, someone you've professionally worked with, whatever it is, and you know it's small, just go reconcile. Even if you're not the cause of it, just go and talk to that person. And if they don't reach out, keep trying. And eventually y'all will break bread, because life is too short. We're dealing with a pandemic where you're definitely not promised tomorrow right now. So try to just do what you can and reconcile with whomever you need to reconcile. One last thing, two of your favorite artists are about to engage in verses very soon. Anthony Hamilton and Music Soul Child. Who you got and why?
I mean, I got to go with Music, man. And I'm not just saying that because, you know, Music, my boy or whatever. It's just, he got a lot of hits, man. And again, in that time in my life when I first got signed, I was listening to Music's first album every single day before I went to the studio. When I was working out, I was listening to, you know, Best Friends and all that. I was listening to that. So like, he's a you know what I'm saying, he's a part of the development of me. So I just gotta go with Music. Like, that's just what it is. Even though I love Anthony Hamilton, he's good. I love some of his records too. This Music just has this vibe to me. Even like his live show was just, and he's not dancing and doing all that stuff, but like just his presence on stage, just something, you know what I mean? And it's just something. And that's one of the last people of that time that are still out there, still doing their thing, and that still got that genuineness to them. You know what I'm saying? Still greatness to them. It was dope, man. I can't wait to see that.
I'm going to say this in closing, and I know I keep saying in closing, but I just keep adding more stuff because we could be on here for another hour and some change. I'm praying that you open up for New Edition, Charlie Wilson, and Jodeci when they come to Boston.
That would be dope, right?
I think you should reach out to Mike and be like, look, man, what do you think? Even if it's just for 10 minutes, let me set off the show. I don't think they would, you know, I'm sure Mike would consider it, right? I mean,
possibly. I've done shows for Mike already. Like, so, I mean, like, Mike has a relationship with everybody, so you already know that. So, I mean, I don't think that would be a problem if it was something that they control. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think.
I'm pretty sure they controlling it. I mean, I think New Edition is basically all of them now. I'm not sure who's behind the scenes of putting the actual show together, but I'm sure they had a hand in picking the lineup. So why not?
Right.
I don't know about Jodeci though, and I hate putting down great groups, but we haven't heard from Jodeci in a long time. Like, haven't seen him perform live yet or anything. Like, Charlie Wilson's always been consistent. We just saw New Edition and New Kids on the Block, haven't lost a step. But what's Jodeci doing? I don't know if they're going to fit on this tour. I just don't know.
I think it's
so.
I think it's a nostalgia thing, though, man. I mean, because that was the premier group of the '90s. So even if they're not going to be on, which I'm not expecting them to be on their A game. That's not the guys that were singing back in '94. You know, it's not. But we can all sing along to those records. So
yeah.
That's kind of like, you know, that's kind of like what it is. I mean, I'm not going to have this same voice when I'm like 70, 60. You know what I mean? It'll be a couple tiers down. It won't be as powerful as it was. Well, I mean, I can't really say that because like Temptations and like they still 80 years old move like they're 20. So I think it's how you take care of yourself or whatever, you know, so but I'm not expecting them to be what they were when they're in their prime. But I am excited to hear those records because they're such iconic records. Like, so people are just, you know, KC's not going to sound like the 92 KC. We already know that, but he's going to be something
Yeah.
close to it. You know what I mean? He's going to be something close to it. So, and it's, you know, listening to the Forever My Ladies and Baby Won't You Just Stay. We want to hear those songs.
Those are the records, man. Yeah.
We want to hear it because now you don't hear it's all about beats and trending and this and that. It's not about the singing. So that's what I like about going to those shows. Like I can't wait to take my fiance to a show like that. You know what I'm saying? To like a New Edition show or whatever, man. Because it'll make you appreciate real music. And I'm saying that today's music is not real music. I will never say that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
People everybody has their vices, you know what I mean? But if you want to talk about just real music, man, and people putting their heart and soul into stuff, man, like you go to those shows for that.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, if I want to chill and be turned up, you know, whatever, I'll go to a Chris Brown show, you know what I mean? Like, but if I want to hear some legendary stuff, you know, I'm gonna go to a New Edition show. Or, you know,
that's gonna be.
And Chris, because Chris Brown is the last of the Mohegans to me. He's the last of that, like, that you can sing, and then you know what I mean. But you still current. He's the last of that. He's the last of that list. He's
Absolutely
that list. So
absolutely.
You know, so. Yeah, man. I'm looking forward to that tour too. Like, and I'm definitely gonna try to be in the building for that. Even if I'm not on the stage, I'm still gonna be in the building for that somehow. But you know me, I'll try to work my way on there somehow.
That'd be dope if you could, man. Absolutely. Well, I'm gonna give you the platform to shout out how you can be seen, heard, promote the single, promote your social media stuff. This is all you. Go.
What's up, y'all? It's Ray Royale. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. If you want to hear more about me, check me out on Instagram, Facebook, all the platforms at Ray Royale Music. That's ReyRoyaleMusik. Boop.
Yes, sir.
New
and I'm going to
single.
add out to the DJs that are tuned in right now. If you want a clean version of I'm Back, holla at me. I'll email it to you, as long as Ray doesn't mind me sharing it to other DJs.
Whoever I'm Back is coming out. You know, actually, I haven't officially put it out there, but any DJs that are on listening, we can get it sent over to you, and you know, hopefully you guys play it, man, and rock with it, man. So appreciate y'all, man.
Ray, it's been a pleasure, man. Thank you for doing this, man. This won't be the last time.
Oh, don't say that. Don't say that, man. Don't say that. Thank you, brother. Because again, it's individuals like you that keep people like me heard and on the scene. And I appreciate you, man. I love you, brother. All I can say is to the next time.
Yeah, until the next time, man. All right, brother. All right, everybody. That's the Rap Sheet Podcast, or today, the R&B Sheet Podcast, indeed.
Hey.
Thank you to Ray Royale, man. This has been a beautiful night. Y'all enjoy your Valentine's Day weekend. I can't believe I'm turning 48 in 3 days. I really can't believe that. Wow.
Whoa. Don't even look.
But it's
all right. You, man.
And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Good night. God bless y'all, man. Thank you, Ray.
Appreciate you.
All right. Yes, sir.